Okay. Should be going live right around now. Don't know if anyone can see me at the moment. Oh wait, there we go. There we go. Looks like I am now live. This is my first multi-stream or multi-stream. So I will be on Twitch and also on YouTube. And so yeah, hopefully that won't slow it down too much. If it does slow it down considerably and you guys are experiencing issues, then I will just probably turn off the Twitch and only be on YouTube. Okay, assuming everyone can hear me and everything is good. All right, I'm going to get started probably just doing some puzzles at the moment. We're going to do some puzzle survival, and I can take some breaks in between puzzle survival to be analyzing some viewer games. If you want to send me your games to take a look at, I can tell you what I think, give you some advice maybe. And also, if you want to play a game, I will be playing Blitz today, 3+2 Blitz, so that more people can get a game. Because I understand that yesterday when I was doing 10-minute rapid, people probably had to wait quite a long time, and I don't really want to, be wasting too much of people's time queuing. So right, this looks like a checkmate in one move. A lot of these early puzzles are pretty easy, a lot of back rank mates, a lot of ladder mates, stuff like that. So let's just keep trying to get through these ones. This looks like a mate in 2, check and mate. This is a back rank. And yeah, so if you guys also want to follow along and make suggestions, I imagine I'll probably start taking a little bit longer on some of the later puzzles, so I'd also be interested to see what all of you have to say. Looks like another mate. Another checkmate in 1. And this is a back rank, not like that, but queen f7. There we go. This is mate in 1. Looking for checks is always one of the best ways to get started when it comes to solving puzzles. So check, if you just keep following the forcing moves, then you can win pretty easily. Okay, black to move. I'm just checking which way these pawns are moving. C3, which means that the white pawn's moving this way, my black pawns are moving up the board, and so obviously I want to start pushing my pawns, because if I don't push them, white's going to take them. But if I push this pawn, white will take my pawn here, and we'll come back and then take the other one. So I have to push this one, and as you can see, my black pawn will always be one step ahead of the white king, and the white king will not catch it. And when the pawn moves here and white takes, white is one move too slow in pushing their pawn down the board, and this should be a win. All right, white to move. It's a mate, back rank checkmate. Looks pretty good. This one, the first check I see is this one in the corner. Obviously, white's got like the entire army just knocking on the door and ready to do some serious damage. So I'm thinking probably deliver this check, and the king moves up. You can block with your pieces, but that's pointless. And then I can deliver this check, the king moves back, this check, the king has to go back up, and then this is checkmate in the back. So let's deliver that. So they do just decide to block, give up all their pieces, but it makes no difference. This looks like a mate in 1. So just a quick checkmate there. And if you have just joined the stream, as I see a couple more people have, what I'm going to be doing in this one is I'm going to be doing puzzles. And other than the puzzles, if you want to be sending in games that you want me to look at, so your own games or any game suggestion really, I don't mind too much. Or as well as that, I will be playing viewers at request as well. And but only in 3-minute games so that we can get through more people and no one's left waiting for a very long time in rapid games. And also during the puzzles, if you guys do want to leave comments in the chat, with your own ideas and suggestions, then we can talk about them. And so especially on some of the later puzzles, it'll probably take me a bit longer to solve them, and there'll be more time for talking about those puzzles. Okay. So wait, let me just check that the audio is working. So it's not like people can't hear me. That'll be a problem. So this one looks for the checks, and then this looks like a checkmate. They'll just block with the queen, but that doesn't do anything. But it is still worthwhile noticing these kind of moves are possible, because if you don't notice them, then it might be the case that there's some kind of blocking resource that would get them out of trouble, and then if you miss those things, you can get in serious trouble in your own games. Okay, looking for checks again. This looks like a good check. Also loose pieces, notice the loose pieces. Both the knight and the queen are very loose in the center of the board, so I think it's as simple as queen a5, and if the knight were to block, I will take the queen, and if the queen blocks, I would take the knight with my queen, and if the bishop blocks, I will take the knight. The pawn blocks, I'll take the knight. So let's go and take the knight. Can we play a game? Well, you have to give me your username first on chess.com. Also, sending me a friend request would make things easier. But if you do that, we can get a game. That is the plan of today. I'll be doing puzzles in the meantime, and that's great to hear. Thank you for subscribing. And if so if you let me know your username, we can play a game. It will be 3+2 because that's what I'm going to be playing with everyone today. And yeah, so you just have to tell me your username, and we can we can get that going. Okay, this looks like a mates. Actually, not so simple. No, the knight blocks. There's a pawn guarding the rook, so that'd be a checkmate. Let's go for that. Yeah. I don't know if you heard me, Martiv, but in order to play a game, I'd have to get your username. So if I don't have your username, then we can't play a game. Okay. So it looks like black is trying to promote the pawn, and probably don't want that to happen. So this looks like a nice check. If the king moves here, it looks like a skewer tactic where we win the queen and break up the promotion square. And that looks like it's the only move for the black king, because the black king can't move anywhere else. That would be moving, all of these other squares would move into the queen, so that would be illegal. Nice. Alright. What elo am I? Well, in rapid at the moment, I'm about 2380. I peaked at like 2430. But we'd be playing Blitz, which I'm a bit all over the place on. Like one day I was like 24, I don't even know, 2412, and then the next day I'm 2200. At the moment, I'm like 2330 in Blitz. So not not the best I've been, but not too bad either. But yeah, like I said earlier, I can see that you are in the chat. So if you do want a game with me, then you just have to send me a challenge. My username is Douglet, but if you tell me your username, that probably just makes things easier. That way I can actually know that it's you who's challenging me and not someone else, and that way you wouldn't be waiting. Sorry for even playing chess. I'm 900. That is absolutely not a problem. I mean, everyone was 900 at some point. I was 900. Like, yeah, there's no shame in that. Yeah, I think I started chess. I was like 600. Took me ages to get over 1,000. Took me like 6 months. So it's definitely not a problem. Okay. Queen f8 is the only move. Bishop f7, king moves. And we can take the queen with checkmate. You just got to look for the forcing moves, guys. Just look for the forcing moves and good things will happen. You will get checkmates. And yeah, by the way, if you are 900, under 1,000, or even that's great to hear. I'm glad you enjoyed watching. But if you are under 1,000 or even under like 1,500, or I mean, I'm repeating myself here, but if you're any level in chess, really, you'll benefit so much from doing puzzles. It just trains that pattern recognition and really will help you see things in your own games so that you don't just blunder pieces all the time. Really helps with the board vision. All right, so to me, I'm thinking we want to checkmate this king. We've got the queen in a very aggressive square, and the only way we can add another attacking piece is with the knight, which is also very natural because they've just taken in the center and are now attacking our knight. So I'm thinking that we should move the knight to this g5 square, and that way I don't see a good way for white to defend. So if we move the knight here, white can try and move the rook away to potentially stop the king from getting checkmated, but that doesn't work because we can just take check here. And then I guess queen takes f7 is checkmate because the rook is no longer defending the f-pawn and the knight is attacking both of them. So it looks pretty simple for me. Knight b5. All right, this one looks like a Arabian checkmate. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this one. We can in fact sacrifice the rook. Start a daily live stream. I will be streaming a lot more often. Can't promise every day, but you know I will be around more frequently than normal. We have got a new internet provider at the moment, so hopefully that will be better. I can see a bunch of new people joining. And just want to give another reminder that if you do want a game analysis or want to challenge me to a game, I will be playing 3-minute blitz today with 2-second increment. So feel free to challenge me and just tell me in the chat. I'm also streaming on Twitch and am paying attention to that chat as well in a multi-stream. So you know, just come along to either of the streams and tell me if you want a game, want analysis, or if you guys are just enjoying the puzzles. That is fantastic too. And of course, if you do want a game or game analysis, then you'll just have to tell me your username. And if you want analysis, you'd have to send me the link to the game. All right, but back to the puzzles. And upload your rapid games. Yeah, I've been a bit on and off with the daily rapid chess. This is true. Okay. Check. They have to take my rook and then block. And once that happens, this will be the Arabian checkmate with the knight guarding the 2 squares here, and the king is smothered in the corner. That looks pretty good. Okay. This puzzle, what is this? Looks like a check probably. The queen is under threat. If they block with the pawn, I can capture that pawn, and there is a pin on this pawn, so they would lose the rook. Counting material, it looks like it is pretty equal material for either side, so winning this pawn here is definitely beneficial. And if we deliver this check, and they were to move the king, for example, I guess we could just capture this. And to be honest, like, the win is not as obvious in this line. So maybe there is something else that's more direct. Obviously, if they go here, they just drop a pawn. So it seems like the only challenging move after a check is king e7, which seems wrong. Like, you just assume king e7 isn't good. It doesn't look good. Check, queen takes, there's a bishop check. And let's say the king moves. Like, at the very least, I'll be able to take. Like, I don't know. White's definitely better. I don't know if any of you have some ideas here. See what you guys are thinking. Sometimes they do just throw in a pretty wild one. I'm assuming it's queen h5 though. I mean, there's no other checks, no other threats. If no one has any suggestions, I think I might just run the gauntlet, just give it a check. And okay, they decide to give up a rook for some reason. I don't know why they did that. King e7 looked a lot more challenging. Okay. That looks like a bishop that I should take. Generally take the 3 pieces. Also, if I move the king somewhere, I guess queen e2. If I block with my queen, they can block queen takes bishop. That looks pretty weird. A little bit all over the place, but then actually they would lose the queen. But all of this seems pretty pointless. Like if I take, they go queen g6, I have knight g3. So I really don't know what black's up to with this rook sacrifice. I mean, if I decline it, it's just terrible. So I have to accept it and then block with the knight. Okay. Looks to me like a sneaky back rank checkmate. Just testing us to see if we notice the bishop going backwards. Do make sure you notice your backwards retreating pieces. That is a classic pitfall. So let's go and take here and win the bishop. All right. Probably looks like a bit of a forced checkmate here, ending with a back rank. Always look for your checks first. I basically immediately eliminated this one because it blunders the queen. And the only other logical check I saw was this one. And after the king moved, so let's say the king would have moved backwards, I saw there was a rook check as well. The king gets forced up. And actually in this particular line, there is a checkmate with the queen. This is a pretty known checkmate. It's quite common when you get the king on one of these squares and there are these pawns. If you can get a queen on this one, the queen kind of just absolutely takes all of the squares that the king wants to use and delivers a checkmate. Okay, that's the mate. Okay, so looking for checks once again. I guess that this probably looks like the most straightforward of them all. Check here, check, and then the king goes there, and then that's a mate. That looks pretty forcing to me. Generally, it's a good idea to lead with your queen in terms of like attacking the king if you can, but if we were to take this way, then the bishop would have no way to attack the king. So for that reason, I think it makes a lot more sense to take with the bishop and leave the queen patrolling the dark squares, and then so after taking with the bishop, really there's only one forcing move here. If the king were to go here, then there's just an easy checkmate in 3. And if I take here and the king moves, you can see, as I said, takes with the queen. If the king moves here, check, here, here, and mate. So I just had a brain failure. I was literally just pointing out how you're meant to take with the bishop and then forgot. Oops, that's pretty bad. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this looks like a mate in 2. Okay, we've had a bit of a rock to the confidence, even though, yeah, I was literally just pointing out how you don't want to lead with the queen in this example. But it doesn't really matter. This one looks like an attraction into a fork where you get the bishop and the knight here. So that one's pretty good. Winning a piece. This one looks like we are eliminating the defender of the bishop. If you take the knight and they take back, we will take the bishop and win a piece. And if we take the knight and they take our bishop, we can take their bishop, Zwischenzug, in between move, attacking the queen and the rook. And if they continue to take our queen, we will take their queen and emerge up a piece because their bishop is still hanging while our bishop is hanging. And at the same time, if they were to ignore us and they were just to take back our bishop, then we can take their bishop and emerge up a piece. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Stop. I do agree. That is definitely a funny moment. Don't really know what happened there, to be honest. Just had a little bit of a slip. A nice capture sequence. Everything gets eaten off the board. Looks to me like a pawn breakthrough here, but be careful with your pawn breakthroughs. When you're breaking through with your pawns, it's not the quantity of pawns, but the quality. That's what I always say. But so when you're trying to push your pawn, if they want to take, then I would take back with my pawn, and that would not be good. That would be a trap. You don't want to take back with your pawn, because then the king is in the square. I have done a video about the square. This is the promotion square that their king can be in, and they would catch my pawn. Now, if I push and they were to try and get their knight back, no, b3 then a3. Yeah, I understand, Reptom. I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to explain. I'm pointing out that after b3, and if the knight were to retreat, you can take the a2 pawn, and there's no way for the knight to get back and stop the pawn. And the final thing I was pointing out, which is that after you push b3, once they take, then you push the pawn forward. And as you can see, this is a much smaller square. Well, this isn't actually the same size square, but the king is not able to get into it, and the knight cannot catch the corner pawn. Knights are very bad at catching corner pawns, and you want to keep an eye out for that one. So we're going to push, 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 and make the queen. Okay. What's this one? Looks to me like the queen's trapped. So if you're looking for forcing moves, you want to look for the checks first, right? You want to look for checks to the king. The next best thing, though, is the queen. The queen is a very vulnerable piece when it comes to tempo moves, attacking, and just general forking. Exactly, I know. I'm getting around to it. So after pawn to c4, as you can see, we unleash this dark squared bishop. So the queen can't get to any of these squares, can't go to this square. It has to take the pawn here. But then, as Reptom correctly points out, bishop to c6 then traps the queen because the queen can't go to a6 with the knight covering it. The knight guards the bishop, and the pawn guards this square, the bishop guards this square, the bishop also guards this square, pawn guards this square as well as the queen. Queen protects the knight, and as you can see, the queen on b7 can't escape through the bishop and also has nowhere to go on the 7th rank. And among this disgusting mess of arrows, we can come to the conclusion that the queen is trapped and has to give itself up for a rook. And a queen for a rook is a good trade. We love a good queen for a rook. Alright, this looks like a opposition puzzle potentially. If we just start pushing the pawn, they will bring their king close. I honestly don't know why they moved the king from e6 to e7, standing away from their pawn. That seems like a pretty bad blunder from the chess.com setup. So you can't move this h pawn, otherwise they will move their king close to f7. And equally, if we played king to g8, this actually blunders a draw because their king would make it back in time and would get to the corner when our corner pawn is trying to promote. So what we have to do is put the king on g7, and because king g7 removes king f6, and the only way they can start trying to run back around to the corner is via e6, from which we can take this pawn on g6. And what's very important here is we can actually use the concept of shouldering. Now, shouldering is when you use your king to build this brick barrier, as you can see, between the two kings and prevent their king from running back up the board into the corner. So when we play king g7 and they go king e6, we take their pawn. If they keep running, we keep running. They keep running, we keep running. You can't for 1 second lose focus and start pushing the pawn. The king goes first. In king and pawn endgames, you've got to send the king first, right? Otherwise, if we do something like this, and we start pushing our pawn, all of a sudden their king's going to sneak in and make it to the corner. So for that reason, we play king g7. And this move's a little bit sneaky as well, because it looks like they're running away, but actually they would still be in the square if we were to push. So we're going to take the pawn here, keep it simple, and we're going to prevent their king from entering. Okay. What is this? This one looks a little bit crazy. My first instinct, of course, is giving this check as a sacrifice. Oh, and it's just a mate. So actually not that crazy, just a mate in 2. The reason why this check is instinctual for me is because I'm noticing that the queen is removing these diagonal squares from the king, and if you can get a piece over here, then that would be a checkmate. And that checkmate's pretty good. Let's deliver a checkmate. Okay. So this to me looks like a checkmate in 2 moves. We can do a discovered double check, so the pawn and the rook are guarding this square. If we were to take this way, what they could do is take with the king, and as you can see, our queen would actually have no checks on the king. The queen guards both of them, and they would be threatening a discovered check to checkmate us and bring their bishop back into the game, which would be no good. We can't be having that. So for that reason, it's just a process of elimination. We see this capture here, and after the king were to move, if the king moves here, it's mate in 1, checkmate to the king. If we take, and the king has to move, by the way, the king always has to move when it's a double check, because there's the rook and the pawn checking the kings, and the king cannot take the pawn because our queen is guarding it. So we just take the pawn here, the king has to move, and this is also a nice checkmate. Wait, the king can't move there. I'm losing it. The king has to go here and it's mate, okay? It's forced. We mate in 2. Gonna take a sip of some water. It would be nice not to have any incorrect puzzles just yet, but in case you guys missed it, this is the puzzle that I got wrong. I was talking about how you have to take with the bishop, so that you can deliver this nice checkmate with the queen and the bishop combo. But then I kind of just stopped working for a couple seconds and decided to take with the queen, that this would be the correct solution. Okay. And just a reminder to everyone who's watching, if you do want a game with me, just let me know your username, send me a challenge, and I will play you. And also if you want the game to be analyzed, just send that as well. I'm only playing puzzles sort of in between. It's more of a laid back stream, but if you do want a game, just let me know, and we can take a break from puzzles and play a game. Reptom, you want a game against me? Okay, well we're playing 3-minute blitz, so you're gonna have to be ready with your speedy skills. Not playing rapid today because I don't want the games to last too long. I think they were going a little bit long last time, but sure, we can play a blitz game. I'll try and find you. I think this is you. Okay. So got a blitz game with one of my viewers. Start with e4. I'm gonna play close Sicilian this time. Let's switch things up. You guys know I like the Alapin, but we can't play the same stuff every time. Okay, they're not interested in my bishop for some reason. Fair enough. Fair enough. No respect for the bish. Okay, so they've got their double pawns in the center. I could have just taken that. I don't really know why I didn't. Bit of a slip there. I was a little bit confused. Okay, I don't really know what they're doing. Let's just play it simples. Let's develop the bish. Guard the horse. And I'm gonna probably try and build up this big center with all the pawns here. I guess that seems like a good move. Okay, let's play g3. I was playing g3 anyway, because we're going to fianchetto the bishop. Unfortunately, I'm going to get these bad center pawns, actually. Made some pretty serious mistakes here already. It's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Let's get out of the way. Probably e5, but e5 will shut down their bishop. So it might not have been the best move for them. Let's move our bishop up. Try and take control of the f-file. It's a good move. Okay, let's bring a rook to the middle. Guess I'm going to drop my queen back, stopping the pawn from moving forward. What was wrong with taking the pawn on d5? There was a mate in one. They were threatening a checkmate with the queen and the knight. Which I'd missed they could do that, which is quite annoying. Okay, let's exchange some of the pieces. So, I guess I might want to get my knight over here in the future. That seems like a good move as well, I think. Sheesh. Getting in some trouble again. Okay, let's start pushing the c-pawn. If I can get a past c-pawn and then try and like maybe sack this guy and just escort it with the bishop, maybe I'll be going okay. Yeah, I missed it as well. That's why I wouldn't have let it. I wouldn't have wanted that to happen normally, but unfortunately we just got a bad position. Okay, let's get this pawn moving. Queen b5. Looks like their pawns are a little bit loose. Their queen side's a little bit all over the place. My queen side's also just collapsed, so you know, sometimes you just gotta say goodbye. Say goodbye to the queen side. Just send it. I guess I would take with the knight. Try and get this pawn through. I don't really know. Okay, let's exchange. Let's block. Queen b6. Do I have this? No. Oh dear. Uh-oh, bad things are happening, guys. We're in trouble. I'm gonna have to be defending with the king, which is never a good situation. Luckily, there's no infiltration with the queen just yet. There's no queen c2. But this feels really bad. Very loose. Ah, I do not like this in the slightest. Let's play for a trick. Oh dear. We are low on time. Okay. This is all just gone terribly wrong. Terribly wrong. If I do win, it will be a dirty flag and not a very pure victory. Gonna have to get this blitz skills. Reptom's fast though. Just moving. No! Oh, wait, my queen. Okay. Sometimes you gotta get down and dirty. And let's just try and flag them. Sheesh. That was close. That was close. My goodness. GG. Yeah, very sketchy endgame. Wow, 61 accuracy versus 56. This is the high quality chess that you expect. Positional play. I do see you sending a challenge, but we are playing either 3+0 or 3+2 today. Blitz games. Just so that we can try and get through the games that everyone wants. So if you could send that as a challenge instead, I can always send you back. You're playing bad today? Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a blunder. Positional play. How do you get the game review with gold? You kind of have to pay for it. I don't really know what else to say. Okay, Sicilian defense time. Hit the pawn. They're going for an Alapin. I respect that. I'm a bit of an Alapin guy myself. Unfortunately, that is a free pawn with the knight. But honestly, I don't think the game review is that good. You can just use Lichess Game Review for free. If you want to copy the PGN, that makes life easier. And cheaper. Let's move back. I was considering e6 to guard with the bishop. You're 1300 rapid. Yeah, often people do have higher rapid ratings. I'm not really sure why. I guess it's just they have more time to think. When you got more time to think, you're just going to play better. So, I don't know. Maybe everyone's just better at rapid. Also, there might be something about I think the rapid pool's smaller, but then again at the low ratings, I don't know if it is. Yeah, I don't really know. It's because you never played Blitz. Yeah, I mean, Blitz isn't really the best for improving. Although I would actually say, I think Blitz is worthwhile because the more you play Blitz, you'll get like better instincts. So as much as people say that like, you shouldn't play Blitz and it would be damaging, I actually don't fully agree with that. Now, let's drop the knight back. Not really interested in blundering. Yeah, I actually made a mistake. I thought I could take, but then they get their knight to c7. Ugh. Not quite it. Okay. Actually, my position's not very good anymore. I don't even think... Maybe I have an advantage, but it's not big. Probably just bring the rook to the 8, play e6. Blitz is great for experience. That's really true. That's a good point. Yeah, playing Blitz is very good when you want to test out new openings and just get like loads and loads of games in. That's very valid. Okay. I mean, our knight's guarded. And they can't win my queen because I'm just going to move back. Oh, that was a mouse slip. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you trying to play? Knight? I mean, were you trying to move the knight? I mean, it never feels good to win on a mouse slip, but I didn't really have a choice. Because, like, I don't really know how we'd undo that. On Lichess, they've got a nice take-back feature, which I think is great. But, yeah, unfortunately, mouse slip's part of the game. What were you trying to play? Maybe they were trying to play g4 first, and then move the knight. I don't really know. You tried to move the other knight. Oh, so you're trying to get the other knight to the center or something. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Again, you just picked up the rook by accident. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Too bad. It's pretty sad. The thing is that my position's like kind of messed up still. But okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm now just up a queen from that mouse slip, but it does happen. Now this pawn guards the knight's entry squares. I mean, really, this game was just like mostly an opening mistake, losing the pawn. And then you played well. Like, I really like c4. C4 is energetic. Explosive, as Ben Feingold would say. And then it was just mouse flips. But you've played really well for 600 blitz. Obviously, I hear that you're like not 600. You're like closer to 12, 1300, which definitely makes sense because you played well. But now my pawns are all nice and solido. Probably just going to bring my other rook up. That way I can sack for your rook and bishop if that ever comes to it, or sack for the 2 rooks as well. That's a free pawn though, and everyone knows I'm a pawn grubber. I love it. Can't get enough. Let's attack the rook. I'll stack it up. Let's move the bishop back. The bishop can live on d6. I like bishop on d6 because it's attacking this. Well, it's not attacking, but it's guarding the h2 square. No, your moves have been actually fine most of the game. Like there was one mistake in the opening. I probably could have just played king e7, but there was like one mistake in the opening where you blundered a pawn, and then other than that, it was just the mouse slips really. Like when you're down a queen, there's not too much you can do. It's just impossible to come back. So I'm just gonna start trying to trade off some of the rooks now. If I can get one rook off the board, it'll be a lot easier. Okay, let's exchange off a rook. Luckily, we still got one rook guarding the back rank, but I'm gonna make a little bit of luft. A little bit of room for the king, just so that I don't screw it up. When you're down a queen, you resign. I mean, it's anyone's right to play on. I see nothing wrong with it. Like, you might as well see how it's converted. I do not see a problem. We can push this pawn because there's a fork. Right. Good game. Really, the only things I have to say about that game were the blundering of the pawn was just a bit of an opening problem. You're meant to push this pawn here, and then you can either play. I think d4's probably a better move if you're more of a beginner, because that way you can get the full center and you can get like the basic Alapin stuff going. But I think knight f3 is better for more advanced players. But you don't want to be losing that pawn in the center if you don't have to. And then, of course, there was just the mouse slip. And that's just unfortunate. I don't know who this guy is that's just challenged me. Valentin. I don't know if this is one of you. But until someone in the chat confirms that it's them, I'm just going to keep playing. You're stuck at 1200 ELO, you solve daily puzzles, play games, and analyze them. What opening should you play? Well, you know what? You know what? You get it? Yeah, I'm just kidding. I think if you send me your account name, I can put you through Opening Tree. I can take a look at some of your games, and I can try and give you some advice if you want that. So I can't really give you any concrete advice unless I actually know more about your games, how you're playing, where you're losing. Otherwise, I'll just be saying something generic, and I don't think that's very useful. So what if you do want to send me your chess.com or Lichess name, I can run you through Opening Tree, look at where you're losing your games, and yeah. Unless he plays the London system. I actually agree, the London system is terrible. You should stop playing the London system. I've always been a London system hater. I don't think it's terrible because it's like actually a bad opening. If you're an experienced player and you want something solid where like you're just playing a tournament game and you're like, I want to make a draw, then the London system's fine, I think. But if you're looking to get better and get a lot of experience playing different positions, I don't think the London system's very helpful. Because you're just going to be getting the same old games every single time, and you're not thinking about what your opponent's doing, which isn't good. Okay, so I'm going to go back to doing some puzzles, unless this what guy sends me his account, and I can look at some of the games, see where they're going wrong and how they can improve. And also if any other people want to play Blitz with me, then I will do that as well. But okay, back to the puzzle. Yeah, calculation's really useful. Can you play? You absolutely can play. I just have to have your chess.com username, and or my name's Douglet, my username, as you can probably see in the bottom. Douglet, you can just send me a challenge on chess.com, Blitz, 3+2 increment, or 3+0, don't really mind. I will play either. Okay, this one looks like it's just a checkmate. You take, they have to push because otherwise it's stalemate, and then they queen and you checkmate. Let's get through that one. Taking a look right now. We have got no one on the Twitch stream, which is kind of sad, but also makes life easier because I only have to keep track of one chat. Yeah, I do agree. Calculation and looking for what your opponent's trying to do is basically like the number one thing that I think separates people from being like beginner to intermediate and advanced. What's my survival record? I actually don't know. I think I got to like 60 one time, and then I reloaded the page and it didn't save, and I was really sad. But other than that, I don't really do puzzle survival that much, because it just takes a long time. And then yeah. But let me check. I think I got to like, actually I can't check, but I think I got to 54 on this account. That's actually been saved. But I don't really want to cancel this one, so I can't check. You're sending me? What are you sending me? Are you sending me your account, or are you sending me a challenge? Because I kind of need to know your account for both. Okay, it's black to move. To me, this looks like it's trading queens, and then the b pawn just runs. After the queen trade, the b pawn is too fast, and the king will be behind the pawn. And when a king's behind a pawn in a pawn race, it can never catch it. And after the queen trade, our king is within the square, like well within the square. So we don't have to worry about any of their pushes, because we can simply move over and just chill in the corner. So this seems like a queen exchange and a push. Whoa, almost pushed too far there. Promotes to a rook, very funny. Typical engine behavior. Okay. I see that someone sent me a challenge. Is that Kushal? Is this what in the chat? I'm assuming. Is that you? What? It's quite a hard name to really talk about because it's what. But is that? I'm assuming that this is you. Okay. I'm gonna play a Sicilian. Let's see what they play against the Sicilian. Knight f3. I would recommend having your own pet line. So this is already a small problem. Bishop c4. Objectively, it's not that bad. But if you're just playing the Italian against everything that black's playing, then it's going to be quite difficult to get better. Because I think that the biggest thing currently that's a problem with intermediate and strong beginner players is that they're learning opening systems and playing the same thing against everything, right? I'm gonna do the little center fork trick as well. But they're playing the same stuff against everything, so they're not learning like how to play different positions. Thomas Koshi, my man. Hello. So yeah, this is knight takes c3. And we can kick their bishop back. Okay. b4, c4 would be a little bit tunnel visioned here, because they can just go a4 and just try and undermine the b pawn, so that wouldn't be that good. Probably the best idea is just bishop e7, bishop f6, going for this weak pawn here. So let's do that. Okay, castles. I could play bishop f6, but let's prioritize the castling, the development, get to safety first. And now I think bishop f6 is better, because once they've moved the bishop, this bishop was probably going to be needed to defend the c3 pawn. So yeah, bishop f6 goes for c3. Eventually, we'll play like e5 as well to liberate this light square bishop. So I think e5 seems like a strong move. We can get the bishop out to g4 possibly. Also, e4 is a move to just kick the knight. And yeah, their bishop is kind of stuck on b3. Bishop d2 is a backwards move, but they didn't really have any other choice. I guess they could have played queen d2. That's true. But after queen d2, I'm playing e5 anyway. And then their bishop's kicked back, like this, and then I'm playing e4 with tempo. So that also wouldn't be ideal. Okay, let's kick the knight. Their knight's unfortunately going to have to go back to e1 as well, which is a little unpleasant. Okay, b5, c4 seems reasonable, but let's just develop. Keep it simple. I do like promoting simplicity. As soon as you start to overcomplicate it, that's when you lose. So now they've got the doubled isolated pawns here. I'm probably going to take with the bishop. If they want to get their knight back into the game, they can't because of c4. Okay. I'm thinking pawn to b4 could completely shut them down. I could also play something like the bishop e5 and queen h4. Let's play b5. Just expanding. Trying to take some space over here. Drop the two bishops back. Got the bishop pair. This is very, very risky by them. Pushing these pawns out so far can get you in serious trouble. But maybe it's not something I can exploit immediately. Yeah, white's king's a little bit weak. Okay. Let's shut down the bishop totally. Put it in jail. After it retreats, I'll just protect my structure over here. And now, as you can see, they have got a development way in for their knight. But I'm now going to start to tear down this center structure and open up the position while I am up in space in terms of like space and piece activity. So let's put the queen on an active square, start pressuring these pieces. My knight can jump into the center. They're defending well though. They are defending. Let's jump the knight into the middle. If they drop the bishop back, you can take with check. But now my bishop's coming in with a pin, and it's just a little bit too difficult. You think knight d4 was better than threatening knight e2? Maybe. Probably. Often taking with the knight is good. That's true. Let's get this rook into the game. I see no reason to take this c2 pawn. You don't want to get greedy in terms of material. It's better to... I mean, I know that I keep saying I've been saying greed is good, but greed is not always good. Greed can be bad, but also good. Okay, we're gonna take the bishop. I'm threatening the rook now with my bishop with the discovery, which they did see, which is good. Let's give a check. Blocking with the knight is dangerous, but blocking with the pawn's also a little bit risky. It opens up a new line of attack. Let's give a check. Actually, let's check from c5 to stop the king from retreating back. And this way I can now bring, actually that's just a piece. Let's check. Takes and mate. Good game. I'm assuming this is what that I played. I'm not going to do a rematch just yet, so that I can get around to playing people. But is this you, what? So this was 80.2 versus 96. It's not too difficult to get a high accuracy game when things have kind of gone a bit wrong in the opening. But this wasn't a brilliant move. I think that the engine's giving me too much credit here. This move was not that crazy. I just went for the center fork trick, and they should have taken, even though you've been caught off guard probably. You still should take, because after this fork, it's not that bad. Yeah, well, the accuracy is high because it's easier to punish mistakes when they're slightly more obvious. So this fork here, center fork trick. Oh, by the way, if what's back in the chat, whoever the guy that I just played was that, yeah, brilliant move. It was not brilliant. If what is back in the chat, I'm just trying to check if that is you, because if that is you, then I can run you through opening tree, and we can try and diagnose what is going wrong in some of your games, and I can give you some opening tips and advice on how you could improve. Okay, so that was you, what? Okay, so we're gonna load up opening tree, and I'm gonna get this running in the background. Oops. So okay, let's just open this in a new tab. Copy this into the opening tree. And I don't know how long you've been playing for. Since 2018. That's cool. Okay. So wait, I also don't know how many games you have. But what I was trying to point out was, let's just set this up. In this particular game, you should have just taken the knight. You gotta sort of take, you gotta take what you can get. When you've been caught off guard, it's generally a good idea just to act principled and try and do what's natural. Otherwise, things can go very wrong rather than just a bit wrong, and you don't want that to happen. But we ended up taking, hit the knight, and here it was already really hard to play once you go down the pawn and lose the full center. Apparently, the engine just wants me to collect the bishop pair, which actually makes so much sense because it wants knight a4, bishop b3, probably b6. Yeah, b6 and knight b3 and bishop e7. That makes a lot of sense. But I just played standard moves, developing towards the center, and then I took more center space with my pawns. And really, it was just hard because you were getting pushed back. You probably should have tried to play queen d2. I think Repton was pointing that out. But then apparently queen a5 and the pawn is just dead. But I was just thinking e5, bishop g3, e4, and you're getting pushed around. Henry. You only play 15 plus 10. Yeah, we can play a blitz game. And I can also show you how to analyze your games effectively with Lichess if that would be helpful as well. Why it makes sense? Isn't the bishop bad for white? Wait, I don't know which bishop are you talking about? The light square bishop is bad. I agree. It's blocked out. Yeah, no, d5 definitely does make sense. I don't really know. But after e4 and the knight gets forced back, it gets in a lot of trouble. And after, yeah, b5 and the bishop gets completely walled out like this, things just get really hard to play. And you just break open the center. I think, yeah, one of my viewers was saying that knight takes was better. It's a little bit better, but this is absolutely good enough. And after the infiltration, there's not a whole lot you can do. Okay, so let's take a look at opening tree. Let's see what it's come up with. Opening tree, my computer is whirring at the sight of opening tree. Seems to have frozen. Come on, come back to life. Okay, well it doesn't seem to be working very well. I just reloaded. That was bad. I think I'll set a cap on it of rated only from not too long ago. Why don't I can't get a FIDE title yet because yeah, okay, when you go off opening tree it freezes. I don't have a title yet because I don't play enough FIDE events. And I don't really know how good my classical level is at the moment. I was playing okay at one point. I've got a couple FM draws in classical, but they were all ECF rated and not FIDE rated, unfortunately. So I guess the problem is mostly just that it's all ECF rated. And so I can't really get my FIDE rating up very high. It's only 1900 at the moment, but I've only played in 2 FIDE rated events. What do I think my OTB rating is? I think I could get to 2100 FIDE without too much work. I guess I'd have to actually put in like quite a bit of work probably to get to 2200. Because I'm already about 2100 in national, and I don't play that much either. Am I up for an unrated rapid game? Unfortunately, I'm just doing Blitz today, so that I can get through everyone that wants to challenge and wants a game. But at the moment, I'm actually just taking a look at what or Kaoshao 2100 FIDE is hard. I don't think it's that bad. I've played some FMs over the board, and they're not that good. Like, I've had a couple. I guess I'm a bit streaky when it comes to OTB as well. But in your country, 1800. Yeah. Well, I don't know what country you're from, but it's different in lots of them. If I just go play in like Europe or something, it's probably not too bad. I don't know what country you're from though, Reptile. I think was it South Africa? I think it was South Africa. But I don't know how South Africa is. I know in India, like OTB ratings are so low, like they're so underrated. I had a friend that went to India. He's like 2050 FIDE, 2100 FIDE, and he went to India and was just getting smoked by like 1300s. Well, not smoked, but he was drawing like loads of 1300 kids and like losing games. It was horrible. He said he's never going there again. He's never playing there again. I know it's also like pretty bad in Kazakhstan, I think, as well. So by the looks of it, okay, we've got e4. At least he's not a d4 player. That's good to know. I'm hoping, is what still in the chat? If Kaushal is not in the chat, then there's not really that much point in doing this. So if you could just like verify that you're still here, so we can like talk about your games, it's actually useful. So e4, e5. He's playing knight f3, which I think is good. He's tried out knight c3 without much success. Okay, you're still in the chat. That's great. I'm just looking at analyzing your games right now. Yeah, you're here. Cool. So I don't know whether or not you were playing knight c6 or knight f3 more recently. Looks like you're going d3. Okay, so you've never tried out f4 seriously. One thing that I am noticing is that it looks like you're mixing up. You're playing a lot of openings, which is dangerous. But it seems like you're playing the Italian, which is good. I like that. But I don't like the look of knight c3. Knight c3 blunders the center fork trick. The Italian is great, but if I were you, I would learn the Italian gambit, okay? So instead of playing knight c3, which is already a mistake, because it allows the center fork trick against e4, e5, so I would stop knight c3 altogether. I can see you've got a lot of games in it, and you have decent success, but it's just not very good. I would play d4. That's what I think you should go for. d4, ed4, and you shouldn't take back. You should go for castles. Okay? And the reason is, this is a super venomous opening. I would say like sub 2000 online, people struggle so much to deal with this. So much. So just for example, if they want to develop and defend their pawn, you play closed positions. Yeah, let's try and get some more open positions. Open positions are really good for improvement because they get your tactical vision improving much quicker. You want a lot of really tactical positions when you're improving. That way, you're just exposed to like more ideas, and when you do get chances, you're going to spot them rather than let them slip. All right. So after they get bishop to c5, you can go e5, and if they were to bring their knight out, you can just defend your pawn, kick their knight, and then you can play a move like c3, and you just have so much extra development, and you get a really good position. And let's say they go here. There's a nice little trick, bishop d5. You actually just win. You just win a knight, because as you can see, their knight has no safe squares, and they can't move their d pawn forward to d5 to attack the bishop. I am suggesting that you should play the Italian gambit. I don't know exactly what it's called, but you should play this gambit line. It's not really even a gambit. It's completely sound. But after the knights come out, I think you should go for the Italian gambit with d4, takes, and castles. And on knight takes, you have rook e1, and no one's going to be. Maybe people will be spotting d4, but I bet you if someone plays d5, you will absolutely shock them with bishop takes d5, and they will be so confused after knight c3. They'll probably just like crumble in the next few moves. Because the point is they can't take with the pawn because they lose their queen, and if they can't take with the knight because it's pinned to the king. So the best move here is something like queen a5, but after knight takes, there's so many threats against their king. Like they probably won't even find bishop e6, which is the best move. But even on bishop e6, your position is great. Long castles, takes. You're doing fine here. I think that you should go for this. I mean, you can hope I'll become GM. I think GM's like quite a long way off. Firstly, I've got to get to like 2200 FIDE, and then we'll start talking about like proper titles. But really, I just got to get some FIDE rated tournaments. That'd be good. Okay, so this is what I think you should play against knight f6. Against bishop c5, which is also very common, I think you should try and pick up the Evans Gambit. Pawn to b4. Try this out. If they take with the bishop, at this level openings are fun, but improving is outplaying your opponents. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's puzzles, and maybe work on your endgames as well. But I would go for the Evans Gambit. You can get a really big center, and you can get a good position, like something like here, back. You can just castle. Like you'll just have a really big center. And oh yeah, I was gonna point out the perks at like a bad opening as well. You can punish this with d4, and after all the pieces get exchanged, you can just play knight c3. What's my real name? My name is Magnus, and I don't have Instagram. So unfortunately, you're just gonna be contacting me through YouTube. I do have a business email though that you can access if you do have other questions. It is magnus@magnuschess.co.uk, and it is in my channel page description. But alright, so I think that you should try and pick this up for white. I'm going to quickly just take a look at what you've got going with black, and then I will move on. But yeah, if I were to say like any big, would it be cool if my surname was Carlsen? Yeah, it would be cool because I'd be Magnus Carlsen's son, and then I'd be quite a little bit arrogant maybe of him to be calling his son Magnus Carlsen. I guess we'd have like Magnus Carlsen Jr. Can you play me an Unrated Blitz? Yes, I'm almost done looking at this guy's games. What inspired me to start a YouTube channel? I'm a full-time student. But I do chess coaching as well. So like, if you would be interested in that, I'm not giving you my WhatsApp. If you want to contact me, you've got emails. Magnus's first name isn't Magnus? What are you talking about? Okay, so you've started playing the Sicilian. I don't know if that was after like you saw my video or something. And against knight f3, you're going d6. I don't think you should go for d6. I think you should go for knight c6. I can't tell. Sven Magnus Carlsen. Maybe. I can't tell if this guy's trolling or not. Can someone verify this? Ugh, I've just completely messed this up. You verify it's Sven? Damn. Fair enough. He has 2 to 3 names. Sven Carlsen. I guess I don't really know that much about the custom of having like double barrel names or stuff. I don't really know. Black pieces, you play the Sicilian. Yeah. Yeah, so I was saying I think you should try and learn the dragon as a Sicilian rather than I don't know what kind of Sicilian you're playing at the moment. You're playing e5. E5's just like not great. You don't get very nice positions after knight b5. I don't agree that Sicilian's too complicated. I think if you're gonna learn Sicilian and you learn knight c6, you can have a great time. And I think you can get very good positions. I wouldn't trade everything though. If you play g6 Sicilian, you're gonna have a decent time. You played the dragon Sicilian. I don't see. Wait, sorry. It doesn't look like you played the dragon. The dragon Sicilian. Oh no, you've played a couple games with g6. But I think the dragon Sicilian can get quite uncomfortable. So I would play the accelerated dragon. It's a lot more simple. Because in the regular dragon, you're gonna get checkmated on the king side a lot. It can be quite dangerous. So I would probably go for knight c6 d4 and take some g6. You stop playing the Sicilian. Well, you can actually get really simple time with the g6 accelerated dragon Sicilian. So this is what I would go for. Yeah. Against the Alapin, I don't know what he's playing. Yeah, you can't play the same stuff against the Alapin. If you play d6, you're just going to get a bad position. Because you just give white the full center and you have nothing. So at your level, against c3, I think you should play d5. It's a very principled way to punish the pawn going to c3. Because if you exchange and then go, they go d4. The point is they can't develop their knight to c3, so your queen's actually fine here. Alternatively, you could learn knight f6 stuff, but that's quite complicated. If you can avoid the Maroczy bind in the Yugoslav, I don't like the hyper accelerated dragon. I'll show you why. There's a line. I tried it out, but there's a really annoying line, which I think is d4 and queen takes. And on knight f6, knight c3, knight c6, queen a4, I don't like it. Because e5's coming. And on d6, there's e5 anyway. and when there's takes, bishop d7, you lose the bishops. And if you don't play d6, then you just get kicked. Oh, that's the queen takes d4 line. Yeah, it's really annoying. So every time I tried to play it, it just goes bad. At what in your King's Indian? We can take a look at that King's Indian. You've never had anyone play it from 1700 to 2000. That's true. Yeah. I guess if you can get super well prepared in those lines as well, you can do okay. But at the end of the day, black's always just equal but worse, and it's kind of sad to play it equal but worse. On chess, opening and endgame mistakes. I can definitely make a video on common endgame mistakes. There is a similar line with queen d4. Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I think psych. I don't think that line's very good for white. I'll show you. Knight f3 and yeah, knight c6. I assume you're talking about this one. You're saying there's knight c6, bc, and then queen d4. I don't think this line's good. Most results at 1200 come with middle game work. Yeah, calculation and puzzles is always going to be king. Also, endgame work I think is great. If you just learn your rook endgames really well, then it will help because you can trade lots of pieces and you won't get in trouble. Against this one, I don't think it's very good because you can just go knight f6 if e5, knight d5, e6, f6 takes. Black's better. Like you're going e5, bishop g7, f5, bishop e6. I always think black does really well in this. I mean, maybe in a later stream, I can or maybe even in this one, I can load up my opening tree. And if you have any questions about what I'm playing at the moment in online, I can show you what I've ended up with because I've got quite a lot of data points. But I find that in this setup, they just don't do very well. For FM and GM, they don't need openings. I fundamentally don't agree with that. FMs and GMs, one of the big differences, they're just better in general, but you have to know your openings, otherwise you're just gonna get smoked. Like in classical games, if you're not prepared and know what you're doing, you're just gonna get horrible opening positions. But yeah, I was saying playing these positions, you're just gonna get e5. If the queen moves over, for example, you can take their knight. Like bishop c4. What's going on? I think bishop e6 is strong here, stopping bishop c4. And you just go queen e7, bishop g7, castles, f5. Black gets a good game. Black's just better. So I don't think that this knight c6, queen d4 line's that strong. So if hopefully this is going to be helpful for if this is no longer annoying for you, then that'll be useful. Okay, back to the games. Someone sent me a challenge. You beat Magnus before? Do you mean me or Magnus Carlsen? Because I know you've beaten me. Rapid control. Sorry to keep you waiting, buddy. But I am now here to accept your challenge. Okay, let's go. E4. Yeah, let's try and play bishop d4 this time. I'm not going to go bishop e2 against you again. Never again. Even GMs are losing to this guy. He plays the Smith-Morra Gambit Sicilian. Yeah, I've heard Mark Esserman. He's got a book on the Smith-Morra that's supposedly quite good. I think it's called Mayhem in the Morra. So if you do want to learn the Smith-Morra, I think I'd recommend it. Knowing Smith-Morra theory is essential. I don't agree. You can just dodge the entire Smith-Morra Gambit by playing the Alapin. And I would recommend doing that, because the Smith-Morra Gambit has too much theory. I don't know why anyone with black would subject themselves to that when they're already there's already so much theory in the Sicilian. You're learning it by accepting it every time. Fair enough. You're more brave than I am. You're saying with black. Huh? Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is I don't think you have to know Smith-Morra theory with black. Mark Esselman seems like he's on crack and 3 hours of sleep. I don't know. I've not seen him. Play D takes, E6, A6, knight G6. Yeah, I feel like if white knows what they're doing though, like I've not looked that deeply into it, but objectively the Smith-Morra is equal. So you're not going to get winning positions with it. So I don't know why you wouldn't just dedicate your time to just doing really, really well in the Alapin. If you're just happy in every Alapin game, then you can just do that rather than learn an entire new thing for the Smith-Morra. When you come online, I don't know what you're trying to say. I think my opponent's taking too long. Which is a problem. They're just gonna flag. Oh, right now it's 11:57 p.m. I don't know what country you're in. Was it India? White plays an Alapin. Black has to know what to do against white. Yes, I agree with that. But you can always just play the Alapin with black. Like you can just play knight f6 when they sack the c pawn and then just transpose after e5. Against the Smith-Morra, I just played g6 after they play c3 and push d5. I have to take a look at that. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna kick their bishop. You can always play the queen to f2 if they ever put the knight in the center. I've found g6 in the Alapin can get really unpleasant though. If white ever gets in d4, e5. Yeah, also h4, that's true. Like g6 in these like because you kind of end up with a French defense, which always scares me because I don't like the French. They're more the defense. Let's play a4 to stop b5. Even though b5 might not have been possible anyway. Actually, no, they would take with the knight. What am I talking about? Yeah, but they've really got to speed up. They're a bit low on the clock here. Knight d4, queen f2. h4 and... I think they're talking about just h4 in general. So, like, maybe... What is this? That's a pretty good move. Okay, let's play queen f2. I'm just going to get, like, this kind of bind in the center with these light square pawns. h4... I think they're saying, like, e4, c5... d4 takes c3, g6, h4? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna castle. Oh yeah, they can't actually take the bishop because this guy is weak. So they got a castle. But now I can drop back my bishop. And I can kick their knight. And it's going to be difficult. Where am I putting my queen? Put it on g3. Maybe they'll go bishop h4. Knight h5 was an awful mistake. I don't think so. I don't think it was that bad. Okay, let's put the queen on e3 and push. They're just harassing me. I don't appreciate that. Please leave me alone. They've picked up the pace now. Flagging. Yeah, I should move faster. Okay, let's double the rooks and try and attack their f-pawn. Playing good moves now, though. Let's defend the center. Uh-oh. Position's falling. Okay, let's try and attack. Very low time pressure for both of us. Gonna try and push my h-pawn to kick the knight. To attack the new weakness. Let's get the bishop involved in an attack on the knight. Okay, I'm gonna try and... Yeah, that was probably wasn't that good. Maybe I can go rook f5 though. There's a check, so there's no fork. Check. They're in a net. They're in a net. There's a free rook. Good game. Good game. That one was just a scramble. It all comes down to the scrambles. I might turn on my light because it's getting a bit dark. Just give me a second. There we go. Ugh. I don't know what were you saying? White usually finds it hard to break on g5. Yeah. It's difficult to play these fast games. Good game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was just the time trouble. Knight e5 was a blunder. Why? g4? Oh, g4, g5. Is that what the guy was pointing out earlier? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I didn't really notice that. Oh, knight h5 was... Oh, yeah, of course. Bishop takes and then check. That was pretty bad. Yeah, knight h5 was terrible. No, I'm not like saying the moves were that bad. Did you play well? Yeah, I think you played well, other than apparently there was one blunder, knight h5, which we both missed the tactic, where you lose the knight. I think might both been a little bit... Probably wasn't concentrating enough, but here it's just pretty equal. Yeah, but other than that, it was good. Okay. I think practically this position is actually really hard to play with the knight jumping in. Like, this is unpleasant with the... Just with the weak pawns and everything. But I guess it's time trouble too. Oh, yeah, there's also a free pawn that I didn't take. It's pretty bad. But yeah, it's a pretty good game. Otherwise, just one blunder really, and neither of us saw it anyway. So, if a blunder happens in a chess game and nobody sees it, did it really happen? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, I don't know if anyone else wants a game, but if they don't, let's return to the puzzle misery, where I have to sit and watch the fact that I got one wrong. You start panicking. Yeah, well, maybe you should, like, there were definitely bits earlier on where you could have just moved a bit quicker. Like, you don't have to make the best move every move. And if you just make a move, then you're gonna, like, you won't have no time later on. Can you play again? Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're an 800 rated player. Sure, sure. What's your user is just knight? Knight is underappreciated. Oh, so full one. Okay, fine. Moving F pawn and opening is bad or good? It's hard to say. Very hard to say. Yeah, exactly. It depends on the position. You don't know how to manage your time. Yeah. It's difficult. I'm not very good at time management either. I often find myself just burning loads of time in like one move. Yeah, Rudra's chess tricks and games. I'll play you after this guy. Okay, we got an Alekhine. That's exciting. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Odd. You want to move the F pawn when it's beneficial. You move the F pawn when, like, if you can trade the F pawn for a center pawn, it's often a good thing. Dude, you're gonna get aborted. You're gonna move. Oh man. I'll give them a rematch, but they gotta move next time. Yeah, you either play too slowly and then get a winning position. Yeah, it's a really tough balance, especially in Blitz. And weirdly enough, in Classical it happens as well. It's crazy. You accidentally move the knight. Oh, I see. I've sent a rematch. Your connection was bad? Okay, yeah, you can play next game. You've been playing chess for only 10 months and 2200. That's crazy. That is very fast improvement. Did you play when you were younger, maybe? I don't know. Maybe you are young. I'm not a FIDE master. I don't have a chess title, but I'd like to get one. That'd be good. Don't want to bought this game, so I'm just gonna make a move. Hadn't decided if I wanted to play d5 or g6 yet. Yeah, good game. It was great. No problem. I'm happy to play you next time I stream as well. You're playing for 2 months in 1900. That's absurd. I believe that you guys must have played when you were younger or something. You only started in October. Fair play. I don't know. It took me like a year to get 1400. After 1400, things came pretty fast though. I just found like getting first actually learning how I was meant to be improving was probably the hardest step. Because I was just playing games and not improving. So, yeah. Stated you can get tiles. Eh, fair enough. 2 months is impossible. I mean, it's not impossible, I guess. You just have to be like possibly one of the most naturally gifted players ever. I'm probably going to play knight h5 to attack the bishop. I can see they're playing the London system. Now, if I were to be pointing anything out already, it would be that I don't think you should play the London system. And the reasoning I explained in last stream as well is the reason is because you'll just be playing the same thing against every single setup, and every setup is not the same, which I think can definitely stunt your development. Because if you just play this setup against everything, you're not thinking in the opening, which is a slight problem. Yeah, that is nice. Year and a half for 2100 is great. Okay. I don't know when I got 2000. I think it was like 2 years I got 2000. Play e5, strike in the center. Maybe go f5, go for a fork. You saw an ad on Facebook that you can get a title by playing in a random country. Oh, in FIDE Arena. Oh, yeah. No, FIDE Arena titles are a scam. You can get like Arena FIDE Master or something, like AFM titles. They're not real titles. I don't know what they are, but they're very suspicious. And I don't trust anyone that has one. Maybe they can check me. What do you play against the London players that castle kingside and go... Do you mean queenside? Because if they're castling kingside and going g4, h4, then I'm not particularly scared of them. You're a London player. Yeah, I would recommend to anyone that is playing the London like full time that they should stop playing the London. Because you're not getting to experience lots of different positions. Which means that you're not going to be like improving your understanding as quickly. Like, it's not terrible. It's not even a bad opening. I just don't think it's the best if you're looking to improve like a lot. If you're looking for just short-term improvement, the London's great. Let's put a knight in the center. At some point, I'd like to attack this pawn. I might play b5 and bishop b7. b5 to stop their c pawn, and bishop to b7 to attack the d pawn. Then there's like some queen f7 stuff. Okay, now I'm noticing that I have a fork. And f5, I meet with queen g3. You play d4, c4. Yeah, striking in the center is most principled when they're trying to attack on the flank. That's true. I guess I can just check again. Okay, I'm probably going to just take the rook, take the knight. Who's your favorite past chess player? Are you asking me who my favorite dead chess player is? Or like just chess player in general? Because honestly, I don't really have a favorite dead chess player. I've not thought about that much. But my favorite chess player that's still alive is probably Fabiano. I like his podcasts. I think he just seems like a good guy. Let's give a check with the knight getting out of danger and try and get into the kingside attack, pressuring this weak e-pawn. But if you want to know who my favorite dead chess player is, I guess I'd maybe pick Morphy. He just had a lot of cool games. And he was just a lot better than like everyone else, which I think is pretty impressive. Let's play for this and mate. Can we play? Absolutely. I'll play you right off this guy after I've analyzed their game as well. So bishop h4 is a mate. Trying to go for that. Fabian Hikaru. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't like dislike Hikaru particularly. I just don't particularly like him either. Rapid? No, we're not playing rapid. I'm not really sure if people would rather wait a long time for other rapid games to happen, so that's checkmate. Or maybe they would have gone for knight f3. Or if people would rather have blitz games, because blitz games allows me to get through more players. Morphy's your favorite as well. Yeah, Fischer had a lot of good games. Hikaru is a little odd. Oh, I did have mate in one. That's very true. I was not thinking. Spending too much time just reading the chat. Anyway, knights are underappreciated. I'm not sure which username that is. Is that Henry? I think. Yeah, Henry. Good game. The one thing that I would probably say is no more London, because unless you want to play the London and start playing different things, okay, I'll just like quickly tell you like what I think the big takeaway is. If you're gonna play the London, you have to be playing different setups depending on what black plays. Otherwise, I think you should just try and play just basically pick any opening and just learn different branches and responses. Because otherwise, you're just going to be playing the same setup every game, and you're not going to get as much experience in different setups, and then your understanding in general just won't be as good. The better you're getting at chess, the more you're doing those Hikaru calculations. Yeah. Yeah. Your calculation skills do get a lot better. Like as you get better, you just kind of see what the best moves are. It's a bit weird. So was there someone else that wanted to play me? I think Rodra. Rodra's chess tricks and games. Wanted a game as well. In the meantime, let's get back to the puzzles very quickly. Let's look at this one. What's the material? We're in check, right? No, we're not in check. So it's probably a mate. Looks like mate in 2. Double check and mate. Whoa, just got a bunch of challenges incoming. Who's Nebula Bishop? Is that Rodra? You only play the London system if black goes d5. Yeah, I agree. The London system is not very good against the Fianchetto. Okay, Nebula Bishop. I will accept your challenge. Let's go. Caro-Kann. I love playing against this opening. I think it's still good for black, but like white has so much fun. Okay. I know that Repton was like trying to get me to play f4. Unfortunately, I've still not gotten around to looking at it. So we're going to be playing knight to f3, as always. And hopefully they're going to take on e5. That would be interesting. No, they don't take on e5. Damn. I think that's probably why I'm a bit attached to this setup, because they always have the opportunity to take on e5, and it always blunders. And it's just so nice when it happens. So nice. Okay, knight e7. Let's get our other knight out so that I can play h3 and recapture with the knight. I'll put my bishop in the center. And I guess we're gonna get... Wait, is there something else? No, I'll probably put my bishop in the middle. And we've actually had a very similar position yesterday, if you guys came on to that stream as well. Trying to remember who I was playing. I think I was playing a 14 or 1500. And basically what happened is they played b6 while my bishop was still on the board. And they were meant to trade for the bishop earlier. Okay, but let's kick their bishop. Take back with the knight, support the center. And I might play b4 at some point so that my pawn is defended. But I'm probably going to go bishop d3 right now. I have got my pawn up. I am up the pawn. And life is pretty good. So let's guard, support. Probably they're going to go b6 or something. But I don't think this is as effective as... It's not quite as effective as when they still have the light squared bishop. I don't understand why black likes this position. Yeah, I mean, when you get b6, it's not too bad. Unfortunately, that was just a blunder because there's bishop takes. Does survival puzzle rush help? I don't think it helps. I mean, obviously it will help. Like any kind of puzzle solving helps, but I'm not sure puzzle rush survival is your best shot. I would probably recommend that you just do regular puzzles and okay, I'm thinking f5, just break up in the king. Or maybe just control the c file. But I think regular puzzles are great. Should probably do more of them. Lichess puzzles are great. There's also Chess Tempo. Has got good puzzles there. Any kind of puzzles, just do them. It'll make your chess better if you want to get better. You were 1100 but grinded puzzles until 3000 but stayed 1100. My question to you is, were you just resetting the puzzles every time you found one that you didn't like? If you did, then that's probably why you remained at 1100. You're training your calculation but not short-term tactics. I mean, if you train your calculation, then you should be getting better. I don't know. You're doing every puzzle. Fair enough. That's quite tough. Okay, I'm just trying to break things open. My highest puzzle survival score, I think, on this account is 56, maybe. I've not really tried to go super big on puzzle survival. Mostly, it just gets a bit boring because training mating patterns but not winning pawns and pieces. That's fair enough. If you can't come up with strategies, then it's going to be difficult. So like plans and strategies are really important too. Sorry, puzzle survival, the highest I ever got to, which wasn't recorded because I was over the span of a bunch of days, and then I reloaded the tab, and it was all lost, which was really sad. But my highest unrecorded, I think I got to like 65. It was something in the 60s, but then it didn't save, and I was not happy, and then I never played it again for ages. And my highest recorded, I think, is 56. But yeah, if you only do puzzles, you're gonna struggle. You have to mix puzzles and also plans and ideas. Because if you only do, like, obviously it's gonna be a mix. Like, if you only do puzzles, then you're not gonna have any idea what you're doing unless there's a winning tactic. But if you only do like ideas and positional play, then you're gonna miss all of the tactics that just win you free pieces. Right to a rook. Puzzles, no games is puzzles, no games is not going to help. Anyway, good game, Nebula Bishop. We can take a look. I basically the big problem. Rodra. I'm assuming that's yeah. The big problem this game. Well, b6 was all good. I even made a mistake with bishop d3 apparently. What was I meant to play? Queen a4. Ah, queen a4 to. I don't understand why. Why is queen a4 good? No b6. That's interesting. You feel like your positional play was better than 95% of 1100s? Yeah, probably. Yeah, unfortunately it was just a blunder. Yeah. It was just a blunder. Wait, queen a4 was apparently winning here. I did not notice that. Bishop e5. And then takes and rook c1. Okay, I didn't see that. But yeah, there was just bishop h7 tactic, unfortunately. Is it important to see the whole board while playing? Do you see the whole board or only see the opponent's moves? I'm not entirely sure what you're saying there. Are you saying that like as in, are you saying do I tunnel in on where my opponent last moved? Because I try not to. Of course, you're always going to be like attracted towards, um, where the move was last made. Do I have some advice? I mean, obviously it all came down to a blunder. Like the opening was okay. I think this C5 Sicilian is fantastic earlier on. But also, if I were you, I would probably be a little bit more suspicious. Like, I'd be a little bit more suspicious of when someone gives you a pawn in the center. And I would say, is this pawn actually free? So you want to look for the forcing moves. So after takes, and your queen takes, you should be looking for checks at all time. I mean, Reptom's saying you should play bishop f5, but I don't think bishop f5's... You don't necessarily have to switch away from the c5 Sicilian. Like, it's good. If you look at, like, Levy, he's playing it in tournaments, and he's getting good games against FMs and IMs as well. But, like, c5 Sicilian's fine. It's not a bad opening in of itself. Like, it can be annoying if white knows what they're doing, and you can end up just down a pawn. But I don't see a fundamental problem with it. Other than that, it was really just a tactical blunder. C5. Oh yeah, my brain's not working. C5 Caro-Kann. Yeah, C5 Sicilian kind of like the C5 Sicilian is the Sicilian. I see what you're saying there. Call me a bit. Whoops. Just call it by its name. The Botvinnik Karls. Blunder is the thing. Yeah. I mean, you can play as well as you want, but if you blunder, then you're going to lose, unfortunately. If the other person sees it. So you just gotta iron out the blunders. Whenever you capture a piece, just do a blunder check. Like taking on d4, you have to think every time you make a forcing move, like a capture or a check, or something that makes me respond to you, you want to try and be thinking, if you, in my opponent's shoes, what would I do? So if you'd done that in this game, you would have taken, you wouldn't have taken, because you would have seen that, okay, after takes, the most obvious response for white is to take back, and then my most obvious response can be met with this check. And if you just try and, you can flip the board if you want. I think you can do that during a game. But also just try and make the best moves, every move, for both players when you're doing your calculation. So put as much effort into your opponent's moves as you do into your moves. Yeah, they could have taken on b2. On taking on b2, I was probably just going to go rook b1 or rook c1. And if they were to get greedy and start taking all the pawns, I guess I would have gone rook c1 maybe. And then, of course, there's the trap is open again. And then probably just something like bishop b1. This is what I was most likely going to go for. And apparently this is not very good. But, I thought I might have had an attack with this light squared bishop. But they can always go g6. So it's not really good. Could have taken... Yeah, I wouldn't give b2. I know, I shouldn't have done that. It wasn't very good. But I don't really have many other options. Did someone else send me a challenge, I think? They're playing Sado. You would have gone rook e1. Maybe. So rook lift, I guess? Alright, let's play the Alapin. See what this guy's got. Oh, you want to play rook b1? I think rook b1's passive. I don't like it. I'd rather just castle and give up the pawn. Maybe it's okay though. Okay, c4's the main move. Didn't go for it. I don't remember if it's like queen e2. Just play d4. d4 is natural, you take the space in the center. Okay, so these endgames are okay. I was gonna say if they trade queens, the endgames are good for white. Let's defend the pawn with the rook, and then try and get my knight into this attacking spot on b5. If they go a6, they can get in trouble as well. Let's develop the knight. Knight b5 is a big threat. Would force queen c8. No, maybe not force, but can definitely get very uncomfortable. Okay, bishop to e3. Can they capture? Takes. Probably. So maybe I just go bishop f4, rook c1. But maybe knight e4 is good too. Let's go knight e4. Wait, knight e4, knight takes. Knight takes, queen takes, knight takes bishop, queen takes, bishop e3. Queen c7, rook c1. If queen c6 or queen b5, there's bishop a4. No, there's not. But queen b5 does a4. And queen a5. Then queen d6 though. This looks good. Let's go for it. I get a lot of development. We get the bishop pair. Just send it. They're also going to have this unpleasant situation with the knight on b6 being under pressure, and if my queen can get into d6, prevent castling, and I get bishop c5, I just win. Yeah, so they decline, which I think is reasonable. But now I'm going to go knight d6. I think. Okay, I have my pawn. My pawn is in pretty deep, which is an annoyance. Can I go for bishop g5? Harass the queen, queen d7. Then I could go knight d4. No, that doesn't make sense. What do I think about your opening? Wait, I think your opening was generally fine. I think the c5 Caro-Kann is good. Oh, I just saw Nimesh on Twitch. Hello. Hello there. Yeah, Spirit Australia. Yeah, this is Douglas. Yeah, this guy on Twitch is played, or not played. It's Team Australia. Hello. Takes, check. I mean, their e6 pawn's super weak. Just could bring the bishop back and then try and go for this pawn. Yeah, I would probably agree. I mean, you don't have to get the c pawn back immediately. You can Is it winter in Australia? No, it's turning summer. Because that's how Australia works. Okay, let's put this bishop, line it up. They can't defend with the queen because of this. Queen e8 drops the knight. So we're lining up some nastiness. I guess rook e1. Rook e1, knight d4. Adding more attackers. If they exchange, my queen jumps in, pressuring the knight. The knight goes to d7, they get screwed. Rook e6. Yeah, no, in Australia it was winter like a couple months ago. It's turning summer. Yeah, Nimish, I don't know if you're still there on the Twitch chat, but if you want a game, we can play. I've got my first Twitch viewer. Let's go. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna kick the knight. If knight d7, I have knight e6. Nasty business. I still have knight e6. Let's amp up the pressure on the pin. Why did I take that way? What am I doing? Yeah, sorry. Good game. I should have taken with the rook for sure. That was weird. I don't know why I didn't take with the rook. But yeah, good game. We just got an unpleasant. Used to stream on Twitch before YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, YouTube I think is better for exposure, but Twitch could definitely build up a following. Catalan boy. I don't know what you're trying to say behind those stars, mate, but if you're gonna say something, say it, but also just don't. It's okay, you don't have to. Oh yeah, yeah. You don't have to play, it's fine. So taking a look at this game. Apparently e6 is a mistake. Yeah, I would say generally you want to play d5 or d6. This is the main line. So you can take back with the queen, and then you can go bishop to e6 and try and neutralize me. The Caro-Kann versus English, which is better? I don't know. Depends what you want. Yeah, GG, sad. Queen c7's a mistake. I guess, yeah, because the knight's just always going to be really annoying. And the c file, funnily enough, isn't safe. The c file looks safe, but it's not. And I thought for a second you might go for this pawn. But I was looking at knight takes, queen takes, queen takes, bishop to e3, queen a5, and queen d6. And I think we decided that this looked pretty dangerous for black. So it was probably a good idea not to take. When we play our next game, probably in the next stream, I'm going to finish up pretty shortly. I'll be ending the stream in like a couple minutes. I'm greeting you, Catalan boy. Well, what are you trying to say to me? I don't know. I've got this other guy on Twitch that just said, hey, and then how many stars is that? That's 5 stars. I can only guess what he was trying to say. I play in games. Okay, I don't know who this guy is, but I will accept your challenge in just a second. I think the game was like really, really hard to play after my knight got into d6. It was just impossible. So really, I think the big takeaway is that just queen c7's super unpleasant with black in these Alapin structures where the pawn's in deep. Because the queen is not safe on the c file. So I would avoid these queen c7 moves later. Other than that, it was just hard. It was just unpleasant. The 15 plus 10 team event. Starting from January. Yeah, sure. I playing that. Oh dear. Wait, I didn't mean to accept that, Kushal. Sorry. Wait, didn't mean to double play. I was just trying to play each person one time so I can get around to everyone. I don't know who that person was that sent me a challenge. You were under pressure. Yeah, it was tough. Wait. Okay. I play in game. You are going to be the last person I play tonight. I'm going to finish up after this one. Let's play E4 again. You get another Caro-Kann. People love the Caro. Team rate should be 6,800. Yeah, maybe 2 teams would be good. Okay, they're inviting me to party, and they go bishop d7. This guy's prepared. Uh-oh. Maybe I should be afraid. I don't remember what I meant to do. I think I meant to play h5, so that they can't play g6. You've been playing the 2 knights Caro. Yeah, it can be good fun. I agree with that. I think I meant to play knight c3, bishop e3, queen d2 castles. But admittedly, my memory of this line's pretty hazy. And I think on queen b6, I go queen d2. I think. This guy seems extremely confident though, which is always scary. But can I not take on c5 maybe? Take on c5. If they take on b2, I go rook b1, a3. I would take. Obviously, if they go bishop c5, I have knight a4. But it might not be that simple, because bishop c5, knight a4, bishop e3 takes. They would take my queen, so that's not good. That's a funny calculation. I guess I'm just going to go knight f3. Wait, this is hard. I'm scared. Okay, I guess I'll just take, and after bishop takes, I'll just take. It's really annoying knight a4 doesn't win, because it normally wins. But you gotta adapt. Oh, knight f3 I didn't like, because of c takes. And if I take with the bishop, they'll take with the knight and play bishop c5. And on knight f3, if they take and I take with the knight, I drop this pawn, and I can't take with the queen. So I think knight f3 wasn't great, but maybe I'm wrong. Ah! I just... Ugh. Well, I guess this game's going down the toilet. Knight b5? Wow, my opponent really nice. They didn't take. What a hero. I could be an absolute scumbag right now and play knight a4. It's very tempting. It's very tempting, but I'm not gonna do it. That's good sportsmanship from my opponent. I'm not about to be I'm not about to just be disgusting and just yeah. That'd be really rude. Okay. Castle long, king b1. Opponent's playing well. Let's bring out the bishop. I'll play rook e1 so that my knight's no longer overworked. Yeah, definitely good sportsmanship from my opponent. Love to see that. Looks like they're already outplaying me anyway. Wait, who's that guy that's trying to talk to me? I don't know. Wait, I'm quite low on time, unfortunately. It's got to focus up for a bit. Opponent's not 1200. Yeah, they played well. Okay, if their knight ever moves, I can just put my queen here. Queen trade would be good for me. And now I can, if they want to trade knights, I'll trade knights and centralize my rooks. Then I'll just bring the king. I'll probably try and play c4 as well, because then I can play for f4. And if I can get c5, then I should be doing good. Let's develop the king. Okay, I'm threatening b4, c5. But you know what? They are playing some ferocious chess. Okay, if they step up, they get mated. I mean, white should be better. I don't know that it's like clearly better. Ooh, maybe I'm not better. Huh. I gotta go g5. Okay, now I've got this g pawn to attack. And if they go back and do passive defense, I can start to bring the king. If they check me, I'll just sack the pawn and go for this one. Okay, bishop h3. Yeah, this game's intense. They can't really take, because then I'll just go for this check. Pick up their bishop. Okay, we've got a suffocation going on. I've got the rear naked choke. Having to live off the increment though. Spent too much time talking. This is why we got that 2-second increment. If this was 3+0 right now, I would have died a long time ago. Okay, let's take this guy. Black has protected passer. How can white be better? I think white's better. Don't ask me how. I mean, white's definitely winning now, but wait, we'll go back to where you were talking about in the analysis. But this is actually quite an educational win. It's a good one to know. Because now I can just move my rook, and then after their king moves in, I can move the king. Because their king is so far away, I just move the rook, and then win. promote. And there's no more checks. GG. They played really, really well. That was strong. But yeah, this is going to be the last game. We're just going to analyze. I don't know who this person is. But I guess I'm just accepting everyone's friend requests now. So, wow, it's quite equal most of the game. Other than when I hung a peek. Bishop e3 was wrong. I absolutely agree now. I was meant to take and then go bishop e3. Yeah, I mean, I always think the white's generally doing quite well in these structures with the pawn very advanced because they can never go g6, and f6 always becomes a problem because after the exchange, if they are left with this guy, you can go g5. But my opponent very graciously didn't just kill me, which I appreciate. Okay, wait, so someone was saying black is better. When were you saying black's better? Psych? Okay, black was better here, apparently. Okay, you were saying here the black's better. Yeah. I don't think black is better with the protected path because their position's so passive, the bishop's so passive, right? And my king is super active. And after bishop h3, with f4, f5 coming, I'm not actually going to play f5. I'm just going to play f4, and then they have literally got no play. They can't move. It's basically a Zugzwang. Like the protected passer is protected, but it can't pass, right? So they just had to go for this, but then all the pawns started dropping. If they were to have checked me, I just go king c7. I wouldn't have actually played this. Actually, no, I would play this move anyway, because then the pawn would promote. So rook d6 would be winning, because the pawn would take and promote. But really, just strong game by my opponent. I don't have a whole lot to say, other than the endgame could have been played a little bit better. I think this was all great. They should have pressed with rook c1. Tried to harass my bishop and go after the base of this pawn chain. I would have ended up with probably a rook on e3. Oh, maybe I would have to go rook e2. But it would look a bit passive, and then you can start moving these pawns down the dark squares. But yeah, that will probably be the end of this stream. I think I've played enough people. Hope you guys enjoyed sticking around. And I will be ending it just about now. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Sticking around, and I will be ending it just about now. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.